Okay, so it's 9 p.m. It's 4th of October. Okay, so I'm happy to be with all of you today. And the topic, so last 3 months, I've been doing things called coaching. So this series that I'm going to do is about speaking. It forms part of the 6 scalable industries. Okay, so for this few months, I'm going to spend some time talking about my experience on speaking. Now, speaking is something that is not easy to master, and a lot of people actually have been wondering how to become a speaker. So I'm not going to that tonight because I want to come from a space of running a businesses. Like I use T.R. Becker, the author of Millionaire Mind. What is the book called? Okay, the author of Secrets of Millionaire Mind. So I want to use that concept called you become an entrepreneur first, and then what if you are able to pick up the speaking skill, the presentation skill, such that you are able to impact a massive crowd. So I'm coming from that space. So tonight, if you think that I'm talking to people who are actually doing speaking, like we call a keynote speaker, motivational speaker, I'm not talking about that. Maybe in future I will. However, Jack is never a motivation speaker. I don't motivate people. I perhaps might inspire you to do something. However, what motivation means to me is always about you go ahead and do something for yourself. So okay, so that's what I intend to do. Now, here is the first question. If you're watching replay, you can answer this question via the comment section as well. How many of you currently a entrepreneur? When I say an entrepreneur, let me give you the definition. Entrepreneur is a person who runs something. We call it a business, a venture. It doesn't matter to me. But what sets an entrepreneur from a typical employee is an entrepreneur actually take calculated risk. The word entrepreneur actually is a French word. It's not an English word. However, a lot of people actually have been using the word entrepreneurs in a very, very generic sense. Like, what is the difference between an entrepreneur and a business owner? Right? So I'm not going to make that distinction. So if you are running a business, you are entrepreneur. If you are an entrepreneur, I assume that you're running a business. Cool? All right. So with that, let's start off with tonight's topic. So I've actually put up online this title for the Facebook Live tonight. That is, why should entrepreneurs run their own events online or offline? Now, this is 4th of October. As of today, the status in Singapore is live events is still not allowed. Now, I don't really care whether there are people who want to break the rules or to defy the social distancing thing, and they're running the events such that they are able to impact more lives. I don't really care. Okay, so I'm not here judge these people. All I'm saying is that as far as Singapore is concerned, live events is not allowed. That's unfortunately still the case. However, corporate events, like if you are engaged by a company running corporate training, that is allowed now in Singapore, but the maximum crowd is 50. That's the status in Singapore. Now, other places, I know in Malaysia, there's a question about running live events. You can hit up to 650 people, according to my partner. I'm not so sure whether this is still true. Having said that, the reason why I talk about online, offline is that I'm appealing my topic, my appeal to global audiences. So I do know that in the United States, there's no problem of running live events. In Singapore, that is a big problem. In Hong Kong, that is a big problem. So I just want to give you these choices. I'm not saying that you must run your online event or live events. I'm not saying that. I'm just taking care of different parts of the audiences from different parts of the world. Okay, so I said, why should entrepreneurs run their own events online, offline? Why should they run their events? So first thing first, I would like to talk about the 3 reasons why I believe that entrepreneurs should not just do their own should not just do their own lead generation, should not just run their business, they should consider running the events. Now, when I say run events, part of the deal is that you will have to prepare for presentation. You may have to prepare for what we call the pitches. Okay, so this is part of the deal. Now, number one, this is the ultimate reason. So I put it as number one. This is not by me, this is from my teacher, Blessinger. It's about leverage. Now, we have people, we have entrepreneurs who love to actually sell to individual customers, okay, whether it's a product or services. However, think about this. If you are running an event, you want to impact more people, more prospects or customers, the word leverage becomes key. The phrase that working hard is no longer the name of the game in today's world. A lot of people actually thought that work hard, hustle means there will be result. I don't know whether this is a truth, because all I know is that people start advocating working smart instead of working hard. But the word leverage is actually telling us to work smart, because here is one thing. Imagine you are pitching your product, your service to one person at one time. What happens is you might be able to do it in a group of people by standing in front of the room if it is a live event, or you are doing something called online presentation, such that you are able to impact people by having this leverage of more people listening to you, so that you do not need to repeat yourself again, and again. Make sense? So this is the first thing, is leverage on people. You don't need to speak to many people many times. Second thing, of course, is the time. How many of you agree that time is very expensive nowadays? So I don't want to spend 20 hours of my time talking to 20 customers individually. Like, this is called the 20 hours gone. So my point is that if you think about you want to do something called presentation or speaking in front of the room or online, you also have leverage of the time. Again, people time. This is, to me, very important reason. What if you are able to do it by taking advantage of both? So you speak to a room of 40 people, 50 people, and you are not worried about spending 40 hours, 50 hours. So I believe that entrepreneurs should really think about this speaking online, or at least a live event. When you do a product pitch, I know that you need to give your energy. You have to give all your efforts to make it better. Having said that, if you are able to leverage the time and the people, that is already a part of the success equation. Now, the problem, which I'm not going to cover tonight on this Facebook Live, is what's the problem of speaking in front of the room. So if you are looking for tools, or what we call the how, we have 2 months, at least 2 months. In the next 2 months weekly Facebook Live, I may bring a lot of the how part first. But because it's tonight is the very first time I'm running this topic speaking, so I want to give you an overview. Okay, so stay tuned if you want to look for these how or strategies. I'm going to do this in the upcoming Facebook Live, at least for the next 2 months. Okay, so this is the first reason. Got it? Now we look at the second reason, sales cycle. There was a time, actually this hits me about 3 times in the last month. So let me talk about this key thing called sales cycle. A lot of people actually don't know what it is. Like yesterday, or actually 2 days ago, I put up a post on my Facebook. Although it's LinkedIn, but I put it on Facebook. Somehow, let me see what people said. I asked this question: what is it worth to you if, let's say, someone is able to generate 600 leads, okay, on LinkedIn per month? I thought it's a very simple question. Now, this is the reason why I teach students not to assume, but ask. The feedback I got was, number one, it must be very good. I say, but I'm asking for how much would it be? How much would it be worth to you? No answer. Good, awesome. Second one says to me, hey, you know what? It's 1,000 Malaysian ringgit. So if you are from US, 1,000 Malaysian ringgit is about 220 US dollars. I was scratching my head. I immediately picked up my calculator and I said, 1,000 ringgit divided by 600 leads, we are talking about 1.66. So you are telling me that each lead is worth 1.6 ringgit divided by 4.4 to convert to US dollars. Each lead is not even 40 cents. I was asking myself, what the heck are we talking about? So people in their mind, the model of the world is they focus on the cost per lead. They didn't know I'm asking for the value of the lead. So this is something that I stumbled upon. I said that in terms of sales cycle, there are quite a number of people who don't know what this is and how does it apply to the business. Because one of the key thing about sales cycle is that you've got to know the various variables. Because in order to generate sales, you got to know your numbers. And in order to know the numbers, you need to know the equation. So one of the equations that I personally teach is called sales velocity. It's part of our bank fundamentals, sales velocity. And what happens is this. What happens is that when you know your numbers, you will be able to determine how much you can bring home as revenue. But tonight, I'm not talking about that part. I'm talking about this part. In the sales cycle, you do have one component called presentation. Now, when a lead comes to you, you need to do something, isn't it? You cannot say, okay, the lead comes, is stored in my customer's relationship management or CRM database, and I do nothing. You got to do something. You have got to do something. Agree with me? Whether you say you agree with me that in order to generate revenue from these leads, you got to do something called follow up, because the wealth is actually coming from the follow up. Esther Woodenberg, the CEO and co-founder of Banco or Codebreaker Technologies, keeps saying to us that, you know what, the follow-up is where the wealth comes. So if you don't follow up, too bad, nothing will happen, isn't it? So one of the follow-up is, okay, you can send an email and say, hey, we have thank you for subscribing to my service. Is there anything is there anything you want? You can do that. Or you can actually do something to create what we call a funnel to invite them to watch or listen or watch and listen to your presentation. So in the marketplace, we've got something called the preview, the very famous word PREVIEW, preview. Or nowadays, I personally don't like the word preview because preview means the market knows that when you do a preview, it means that you are going to sell them something. Nothing wrong with that concept, but the point is in our part of the world is we love to buy, we don't love to be sold. Okay, so we have another questions about whether we should call it masterclass, whether we should call it a live event, or we should call it something else. Now, this is again not part of the topic tonight. Just bear in mind the fact that you label your event as a webinar, a masterclass, or a preview might affect the show up rate. So just think about that. Maybe you want to ask some other people who are experienced in this field to find out what works for you in your industry. Make sense? Okay, so coming back, reason number 2, all I'm saying is that you got to do something in order to turn the leads into what we call the sales. Okay, hi Joe, thank you. Good morning to you. Good evening to me. And Maria, thank you. Good morning to you. Good evening to me. Thank you. So presentation. So then the question is that how to do the presentation, isn't it? Wrong. Many people focus on the how straight away. So in the next segment, I'm going to introduce the 3 important questions for you to ask yourself before you even talk about how do you do the presentation. Because many people actually focus on the how so often such that they forgot the other 3 important questions. So I'm coming to that later on. So this is the second part. So reason number 1 is the leverage of people, the time, or both. Reason number 2 is in your sales cycle, you got to do something, and part of something could well be a presentation. Okay, so I'm not talking about how to present tonight. I'm talking about 3 important questions that you've got to have the answer before you even ask yourself what is the how. Okay, how to present. All right. Okay, so reason number 3. So the third reason is meant to create a different user experience. Now, this is more of people who are talking about product. So for example, you can give them a product catalog, okay? And it's a traditional salesperson's mindset, give you the product catalog. and you read the information. If you got any questions, you ask me. And then what happens is that once the questions are clear, I'm sure you'll buy from me, isn't it? Okay, this is the old type, this is the traditional way of sales. However, in the event, what happens is that you can actually be more creative to create something called a different user experience. Because experience, when the user has good experience about using your product or your service, this is the traditional mindset of demo. Okay, why demo actually works so well, especially for product launches, is because it creates an experience from the user's perspective. In an event, can you do the same? Are you able to do a product demo in the event? And imagine going back to reason number one, you are not doing demo only to one person at one time. You are doing the demo to, let's say, 20 people at one time. How much time would you save as a result? Make sense? So other part of entrepreneurs, you might be doing what we call a service. You may be providing service. Are you able to demo the experience of using your service? Again, tonight, I'm not talking about program design or presentation design. It is something for you to think about how you can generate or create different user experiences rather than just merely going through your catalog or going to the website and see what's going on. All right, so these are the three reasons. I know there are many reasons. I'll give you these three. And out of these three, the first one is very important, which is the reason why instead of running a presentation to individual person, I'm running a Facebook Live so that this can go out to many people if they choose to embrace and watch it, either a live or actually a replay. It doesn't matter to me, and I'm not concerned how many people watch my Facebook Live, because part of the deal for those people who are wondering whether you got people watch your Facebook Live, you have to understand something. Your time, of course, is important. However, the other part of what I'm doing is to generate, I'll call this the artifact. Because now when I run a Facebook Live, I have asset. When I have the asset, I can do any repurposing as I wish. How many of you notice? I'm not doing this so that, okay, oh my God, how come I only have like 10 people, 20 people, or sometimes only a few people watch? I don't care, because I'm generating assets. And that to me is more important than anything. Okay? So, Cindy, as usual, you watch replay. I know it's very late for you. Okay, so the three questions that you got to ask before you talk about how to present. Now, you can attend many courses out there will show you how to present. The Toastmaster, the other day I was watching one Facebook Live about Toastmaster. How do I know whether someone is a Toastmaster trained? Is very they articulate very elegantly, okay? And you can see that they have very smooth delivery. Their body language is very carefully designed. So immediately I can tell whether the person is actually a Toastmaster trained person. I can tell straight away. Because Jack is not Toastmaster trained, you can see that what I'm doing has defied all the Toastmasters principles. Nothing wrong with what they're doing. I'm not against. I love them. It's just that Jack is not Toastmaster trained. So what makes me unique is because that is my style. Okay, my style is very strong Hong Kong accent. My style is I'm very blunt. My style is that I give you the tender loving care. So as part of the presentation technique that you want to explore is what is your own style. Okay, so thank you, Cindy. Thank you for, okay, so comment is a generous, continuous sharing. Good, awesome. Thank you for that. So what I'm asking is that when you ask yourself the how to present, there are actually three more important questions you got to ask. Are you ready for this? Okay, number one, let me find out the card. Number one, I think my card is here. Yes, it's here. First of all, let me show you two questions. What is the topic? And why is the topic? Think about this. What is the topic? And why is this topic? Anything start with how is not going to get you very success. It's not getting you very successful. I was always told by my teacher, Alex Mandosian, that you always start with the what, which is your intention, and then start with the why, which is your purpose, and then you look at the how. A lot of people actually start with the how and never look at or wonder the why and the what at the later stage. So when I ask what presentation is this about, what is the topic. Well, of course, as an entrepreneur, the topic is your business. What are you offering? Okay, so you've got to know what is your product and service. Now, this is the first thing that I know if someone is running a business. Why? Because if the person tells me, I am not able to come up with the offer, that is already a red flag. The red flag about you don't know what you are doing in your business. Because when you are running a business, do you agree with me? When you're running a business, you know what you're offering, whether it's a product or service, you know exactly. So this is the reason why I can tell if someone is a teacher versus someone is an entrepreneur becoming a speaker. So it's what we call a T. Harv Eker. If you know T. Harv Eker's story, you know that he started off in businesses first. And later people come to him and say, hey, how do you do all this? How do you turn $1 million in 2.5 years? Okay, by borrowing $2,000 from a credit card company. So this is his story many years ago. And then he started doing the teaching piece. So he's entrepreneur first, teacher second. Now, the market has some people, I'm not going to name names because it is a Facebook Live. There are people who are teachers. They teach, but they are not running a business, which is why later part of this Facebook Live, I'll bring up a topic which I have been studying over the last 4 months on YouTube, which is called the Contrapreneur. Okay, so Contrapreneur is something I'll cover at the end of this Facebook Live. Stay tuned because that's pretty interesting topic. Now, what is the topic? Once again, is you got to know your product, your service. Now, here is one thing you want to know. Why do you choose this topic? Okay, so for example, when you're running your presentation, you are talking about your product launch or you're talking about your service launch. No matter what it is, you've got to have a why. Why are you offering now? Now, here's one thing again, you may not notice. Perhaps you will, I don't know. Let me just share with you what I'm talking about. That is, in this climate, okay, in this pandemic. Now, COVID-19 is still there, okay, it's not gone yet. Singaporean, if you're from Singapore, you know disease X, okay, disease X, okay. I don't know whether other countries know disease X. Singapore talk about disease X. So what happening is that during different period of time, your product launch, your service launch must be appropriate for that particular point in time. So at the beginning of this series of Facebook Live, like when I talk about coaching, like why would people want to get coaches? Okay, is it really seriously generate money? Yeah, part of the deal is generate money, but survival is more important, isn't it? Right? So in this climate, you've got to know what what your prospects or your clients are after. So why is about, okay, what products or what services am I launching? You see, therefore, whether it is the what or the why, coming from me is about your end game, or in short, your CTA. These two questions lead you to this outcome. So what is the outcome of my presentation? Always start with the end game in your mind. Why is that important? What's the point of presenting to someone who is not interested in your offer? And isn't it true that you waste your time? Make sense? So I want to know, as a result of doing this presentation, what will happen. I have to have this something, so I have to think about this. For example, it could well be a product awareness or service awareness. Okay, so the end game is just to give them some ideas, some insights. So I'm not selling anything in that presentation. Is that okay? Of course, not a problem. How many of you notice in Facebook Live, I never sell you anything, right? So here is, I'm just giving you a topic. And then I ask you to, well, if you love the topic, you watch. If you don't like it, it's not for you, then it's okay. Well, we see each other another time. So I want you to realize that these two questions are pretty more important than the how. You've got to have the what is the topic, and why is the topic, and both have something to do with your end game, your call to action. Your call to action can mean, hey, you know what, at the end, if you like what I'm offering, buy now. Okay, this is to sell somebody. But it's not always the case that people are ready to buy. in the pyramids, what we are saying is that about 3% of the people are ready to buy from you. They are the ready taking out money from your wallet people. Okay, other people will still need some time in order to come closer to the closing point. Okay, so your end game could well be different. So Jack, you just asked, like, there are three more important questions you need to address before the how, and here is that a typo? You have two questions only. Okay, there's one more question, but before that, let me also share with you your own internal reason as an entrepreneur, what and why. Now, if it's not clear to you about what and why, typically again it's something to do with whether you are running a business. Because one of the biggest problems I see in the market is because the fake gurus, so-called the fake gurus, okay, the fake teachers are giving you something called mindset. Now, I'm not against anyone teaching mindsets. Okay, that is not what I'm saying. Because when you don't have a genuine product launch or service launch, the only thing you can actually sell is mindset. Isn't it true? Personal development. Yes, although we say personal development is very important, I'm not saying that you can just sell personal development. I'm not just saying that because there are people out there who are just selling mindset. Is there anything wrong with that? No, there's nothing wrong with that. But what I'm talking about tonight is entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs running a business. So what is your business? You've got to be clear with what your business is about. What are the products? What are the services? So that question about what topic shouldn't have any problem. However, if you are on the other side of the spectrum where your business is not strong or your business lacks clarity and you do not want to hire a coach to get the clarification, then the guiding questions for the what is, what do you love? What are you passionate about? Okay, so for the mindset people, what happened is that they could have a struggle in the past and somehow they have done something, they have an epiphany, they have a light bulb moment, and then they are now doing something called, let me share with you how I overcome the problem. Let me share with you my experience. Now, this is a very important piece for you to take note because I know Raymond has asked me, so I'm answering Raymond's question on this Facebook Live now. So Raymond, thank you for your question. I know you may not be here tonight, but doesn't matter. So Raymond's question is this. Raymond said, how do I know? Okay, so the question he asked, let me just read out his question so that you know. So the question he has is, how do I know if a topic is new and I'm actually doing something called fake it to make it? Now, the very first question you've got to come to your mind is, I don't like you to do something that is fake it to make it, especially for first timer. First time speaker, we say that your confidence, you need to be confident, you need to fake it to make it. I'm talking about the way you present, not talking about what you're supposed to present. So whatever topic that you are speaking, you've got to have shown something. You have got to show some results. So for example, I am able to talk about TikTok. Why? Because I have that kind of following. I'm on the verge of having 3,000 followers. I'm just 179 short to 3,000 followers in a matter of just 1 month. So some people would want to know, how do I grow my TikTok account? I have done this in the last 2 months from only 200 to now almost 3,000. Okay, so yeah, so when you have done something, okay, then you are qualified to speak on the topic. I was very fascinated with people who are talking about things that they do. However, when I look at their account, I was scratching my head and say, hey, you know what? Something smell. That's the reason why the term entrepreneurs come. So let's say you're running something called, you are sharing your secrets of YouTube, for example. Like Jack would not talk about YouTube because honestly, if you go to check my YouTube account, I've only got 432 subscribers. So I am not a guy who will talk about YouTube because I haven't done anything concrete to show you a result. Okay, so it's very fascinating to see, for example, people talk about how to grow the YouTube channel or how to grow your YouTube view counts when on the YouTube channel they don't have that kind of track record. So this is a very important principle you've got to bear in mind. You've got to do something, have results which allows you to be able to share. So that's why I say teach your experience. It doesn't matter whether your experience is the tip top, what we call the sage level, okay, the sage, term that I will introduce 6 months down the road, okay, sage, not hero, not authority, not thought leader, but the sage. The other thing is that there are these people who talk about the walk the talk, walk the talk, walk the talk. What is walk the talk? Walk the talk means that you only teach something that you have done, okay, and then you earn the right to talk about that topic. Okay, you never ever pick up a book and say, hey, you know what? I am going to share with you, okay, this is the secrets to be rich. So if you have not done something, you're just talking about theory, that's what this word entrepreneur comes about. Okay, this is important. You only share what you have done, which is your experience. Experience can't lie. People may then say your experience doesn't help me. That's fine. You are still walking your talk. In my opinion, you are still walking your talk. If you are doing something and you teach other people, you are walking your talk. If you have not done anything on that particular topic where you speak, and what you are going to do is to teach people and you sell a course or program or launch, this is where the fake guru concept comes in. Does that make sense? This is something you need to remember. Why? Which is the mission, your value proposition. Goes back to your business. You can't run a business without understanding your mission, your values. Does that make sense? If you do not know your mission and your value, I begin to wonder whether you really have a business to start with. Let it sink in. I'm just sharing with you. This is pretty important. All right. So, Jack, you said there are 3 questions. You only demonstrated 2. Okay. Now I know that's why this card is important. But who is a more important question? So how is not the most important question, by the way. There are 2 questions that are more important than how, which is the what and the why. Make sense? However, before the what, before the why, I believe that who is the ultimate question you've got to ask. Who is more important than what, why, and how? Who are you speaking to? Again, when you run a business, it shouldn't have any issue because that's your target audiences. You see that when you are an entrepreneur doing speaking, all these questions are very easy to answer. Why would that be a struggle to a few people? I won't say how many, but a few people, when they don't know what they speak, when they don't know why to speak, when they don't know the who to speak, they are struggling with target audience. It shows that they are not having a concrete business, or the business context is still quite weak. So work on the business to fix the context before you talk about speaking in front of the room. Does that make sense? So once you have figured this out, the who, the what, the why, the how becomes so easy. However, it is still important for me to highlight this because not everyone's business is concrete. Not everyone's business is, oh my God, is very, very clear. So who are your audiences? We talk about this many, many, many times. Who are your target audience? Okay, so go through. If you've been following my work, the saying goes, if you have been following my work, you do know this is important question. And why is it important? Okay, you got to know their pain points. Not the pain, but the pain points, the challenges, the obstacles, not just the problems. What you do is to give them the problems, let them realize these are the problems that they are facing. You are not a solution provider. Okay, in 20th century, maybe entrepreneurs is to provide solution. For 21st century, Alice Mandoshi, my teacher, actually said, well, you've got to be a problem finder. Your job is to help them find their problems. And then they said, okay, I know these are my problems. I don't know what to do. Can you help me? Now you see, if they ask you, can you help me? Is that more powerful because they have given you the permission to help? This is the reason why your end game becomes so easy, because all you need to do is to help them realize point A, which is what they have right now. So Joe, for example, Joe asked me, can I teach him the linking SSI? I said, well, I can do that. So Joe, I've replied to you on my post. I said that go to this link, get your SSI score first. That is your point A. So once you know your point A, then you make a decision as a prospect. You make a decision whether you want to stay in the point A and continue to feel the pain, or you decide, okay, enough is enough. I got to move out. So when the prospect says, I've got to move out of point A, then what happens is that you say, okay, I acknowledge that maybe you should look for these solutions. Okay, so there are 4 solutions on my flip card, 4 solutions. And why do I say 4 solutions? Because I don't want to sell the person, hey, you got a problem, right? Good, come to me. I'll be the one solving your problem. What I'm doing is that I'm just giving you some ideas of how to go ahead. Now, this is where the product offer comes in. There's a science behind how you do this in sequence. Okay, this is again another Facebook Live for another day. So I'm not going to talk about this. You are not just giving them, okay, you got to do this, you got to do that. You may want to. No, there's a sequence that you need to do. So think about it again, let it sink in. And I don't even point out point B. Why? Because the prospect may not be ready for you. So all I'm saying is that you are just giving them the awareness. And then potentially, the prospect may come to you. Again, what I'm saying is that it is a very easy sell when you are adding value to your prospects and let them feel the pain, give them the awareness that, okay, these are the problems that you are facing, help them find all these problems, and just shove them with the question, okay, how are you going to work on this? Is that been serving you? Are this what you're doing helping you? I'm just asking questions. It's like coaching. So you see, coaching and closing are very similar. That's what I said in the last 3 months. Coaching and closing are very similar. All you do is just to ask questions. Okay, so once you have got this end game, now you have absolute clear idea of what to do with your presentation. Okay, yep. So what I'm saying is that it's the who, it's the what, it's the why, and then you talk about how people, unfortunately, they are not clear with their call to action. Part of the struggles when you do not have a clear call to action is because you haven't answered the who, the what, the why, and you just go straight to the how. That's why we got trainers, teachers, mentors, certification, whatever you can see everywhere. Okay, teaching you how to become an awesome speaker. How are you able to speak in front of the room? How? No, how is important. Because if you don't have the how, you cannot execute and generate the result. You've got to know the 3 important questions first: the who, the what, then why. Get this done, you'll be okay. Okay? And you may not be an awesome speaker. I don't need you to be an awesome speaker. Am I an awesome speaker? I don't think so. How do you define awesomeness in the first place? All I'm saying is that you give yourself too much labeling. You say, I'm not awesome. I'm not good. All these are little voices. Okay, that is another topic. You see, tonight what I'm doing is that I'm actually giving you an overview, a helicopter view, and all I'm saying is that you got to look at these and that there are multiple things that I'm seeding tonight, multiple layers of things that I'm seeding, because I know in the next 2 months what I can cover, what I cover on my speaking topic. Okay, so I know that it's already 30 minutes, 40 minutes. Okay, so let's talk about the last piece. Okay, so this is for my first time. I know Peng Jun did that on YouTube and he got fired by a lot of people. So I'm taking a risk here tonight too, because I may offend some people. Entrepreneurs versus contrapreneurs. I'm actually taking the risk because who am I talking about contrapreneurs? Okay, so let me give you a disclaimer first. Is Jack a scam? Jack is a scam. Is Jack Wong a scam? Jack Wong is a scam. Is Jack H.M. Wong a scam? It is. Jack H.M. Wong is a scam. Is this Facebook Live a scam? Yes, this Facebook Live is a scam. Everything I'm doing tonight is a scam. So yes, so if you agree with me, then I don't have any issue. If you don't agree with me, then let's define what is the meaning of scam. Have you heard of this story whereby you have purchased a product that is not working for you? Have you purchased a service? Have you got someone to provide you with the service and it doesn't work? Okay? So then the thing is that you stick out your finger with 3 fingers pointing at you and say, that product sucks. That service sucks. That guy who sells me this sucks. That is a scam. This is how this will come about. When things are not working, once you have done this, 1 finger point out and 3 fingers pointing at you, that is a scam. So my saying is that whenever you purchase anything, just remember one thing. That is, all programs, all services, all products are scam. Once you have removed this resistance, then you've got to understand how to make it work. So for example, if you have bought a very expensive program, there are people who teach us when you bought an expensive program, you'll be more motivated to make something happen because the pain of not doing something is huge. Because, for example, you have invested a $10,000 program, which is what I've just done. I'm waiting for my $10,000 program to be delivered. Okay, I'm guaranteed I will take a lot of action because I have already got $10,000 at stake. Okay, and I'm going to make it happen. So this is something that you got to remember. All products, services, or you as a service provider or the business owner as a scammer. Ashley is here. Oh, hi, Ashley. Welcome to my Facebook Live. You are a new visitor, I guess. Okay, so let's talk about the definition of entrepreneur. So I've got this definition online. It is a con artist who makes fortune by fooling the entrepreneurs. So you see, entrepreneurs are con artists. There's the identity. They make fortunes by fooling the entrepreneurs. So who are the entrepreneurs? The entrepreneurs are people who have been sold, okay, you've got an opportunity now. The opportunity is coming. If you don't take it, you'll regret for the rest of your life. Sounds very familiar, right? This is what we call the scarcity or the FOMO, fear of missing out. You've got to make a decision because time is not going to be wasted. And I've got only 5 seats left. Oh my God, sorry, 4. If you delay for 1 minute, it's down to this kind of pitch that I personally have been exposed to. And sometimes in a long time ago, I actually used that as part of my close. And I said that, well, this is, unfortunately, you've got to have some scarcity and urgency in your offer. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with that. So this definition comes from intention. Okay, so first of all, let's not go to that space of fighting with these people saying that everybody on the planet, internet marketer, online marketer, digital marketers are all scams. No, it's the intention first. Your intention is very, very important. Con artist who makes fortune. So this is where the statement called I make money by teaching you something. I make money by teaching you something. So I'm teaching you making money by teaching you. Now again, is that true that when you present something to someone, you are teaching as well? Are you making money as well? So there's nothing wrong to teach and make money. The problem is your intention. Is what you are sharing with your participants or your customers work? That's the key. Now, of course, you got to let them know that what are the reasons why that may not work. You need to get them into the state of commitment. Because most people I know lack commitment, lack clarity, lack responsibility, lack accountability. That's the reason why a lot of entrepreneurs are not able to be successful. A lot of entrepreneurs, what they are doing is they attend one seminar, another seminar, another seminar, another seminar, another seminar, hoping that this seminar will change their life. This is the one that will change their life. They are looking for what we call opportunity. I'm not against entrepreneurs because when they have much money to spend, by all means, and make other people rich for that reason. That's why we love to say that some event producers are rich, making a lot of money because they are able to pitch to these entrepreneurs. Okay, so entrepreneurs eat up entrepreneurs when visions are clouded as well as by people who are desperate. Awesome, thank you, Ashley. That's the point. Now, let's talk about the characteristics of how a entrepreneur is being labeled. Now, I'm going to acknowledge the source. Now, on the YouTube channel, there are few people who love to do this kind of entrepreneur thing. So I'm just going to announce the name. I'm not friends with them. I'm just saying that I know because I follow their channels. We have got Coffee Sealer. Okay, we have got Spencer Cordelia. We have got Tom Nash. We have got another guy. Entrepreneur is actually a channel that I've been following called Mike Winnett from the UK. Mike Winnett. Okay, so Mike Winnett has a YouTube channel and he features every single entrepreneur once a week, and he talk about how do I know that if that person is a entrepreneur. So he gave a few characteristics. Now I'm just showing you, I'm just acknowledging the source. I'm not saying that I agree with him. I'm just acknowledging the source, and I say that, okay, it's good information to know. Number one, product pitch. They are not actually doing anything else except pitching you with the product. My question is that, isn't it true that business owners are pitching their products all the time? So understand, I'm just giving you the observation. Value stack. So the values of this program plus all the bonuses is $23,999. So the argument is that, do you think that people on the street will be willing to pay $23,999 for these bonuses? That's called the value stack. Extraordinary income. The very famous 10x, for example, I'm not going to name the person, I will die. Okay, 10x, 3x, 100x, extraordinary. Entrepreneurs promises, by coming for my process, you will earn extraordinary income. Okay, then this one I love. This one is basically what we learned from T. Harv Eker, and Mike Winnett actually called this the bullshit bad story. So it's like everyone, imagine you have done all this and you have achieved the success. You may feel that you are the king, you are the queen on the planet, you are totally unstoppable. But I'm just like you. I was sitting there 1 year ago, and what happened is that my life wasn't like this now. Let me share with you how I become a speaker on stage. So this is what Mike talk about, the bullshit bad stories. That every single one will talk about the bad stories, how they come from that ordinary life into where they are today. Okay, so nothing wrong with that. Again, I'm just saying that this is one of the characteristics of an entrepreneur. Huge discount. Okay, so the value of this offer is $23,999. But for today, my event special is only $997. So from $23,997 drop all the way to $997. Huge discount, because that is what we call the price slash. It's a technique that we learn in making offer. Anything wrong with that? I don't know. Okay, so this one, price ends with 7. 997, 1997, 7. Not 5, not 9, but 7. Okay, are you aware of the programs, the product you have purchased, especially those online courses, where the program price happens to end with 7? Okay, so this is another thing that is identified as being a entrepreneur. Okay, last but not least, vague video testimonial. Because these testimonials, maybe you pay for it to get someone do it for you. Or maybe these people don't have real concrete results, okay, really cannot prove, but they just do it because you force them to do it. So you see the finger is there. Okay, so Ashley said 97, 997, 7. Yeah, a lot of 7. Okay, so the last one is like the entrepreneur use the gun to point it at your head and say, got to do a testimonial for me. Say good things, if not. So this is called the fake video testimonials. Does it happen in the market? Are you aware of some entrepreneurs in the market? I leave it to you to decide. Don't ask me whether the answer is yes or no, because whatever I'm saying to you, I will make someone not happy. I will just keep my neutral position. So the question is that if you are so afraid of being seen as a entrepreneur because your product launch has all these things, you may say to yourself, which was my problem 4 months ago. I was saying that, wow, if that is being attacked, should I actually continue doing what I'm doing by making my offer? So I said, no. If I let them continue their talk and I'm affected by their talk, then I will just stop doing anything. Period. So how can I overcome this little voice? Okay, how am I going to overcome this little voice? Bearing in mind that I'm taking a risk of being labeled as a entrepreneur as well. So Jack can be a entrepreneur, or in fact, Jack is a entrepreneur because my product, my offer has these elements. So he started off with this thing called intention. That's why I said your intention is everything, and everything is your intention. If you are here, launch a product to purely make money from your students, then you are likely a entrepreneur according to the definition. But your intention is really genuinely helping your student to succeed. Okay? And you are not putting money as your focus. Yes, money is the result of the successful launch, but more importantly, are your students being served? Are your students generating results? To me, that's more important. Because when students generate results, they rave, you don't need to hard sell anymore. So part of the equation is that, are you willing to spend time taking care of your students, your customers, so that they are able to see the success that they have been promised? It's not extraordinary income, but are you able to give them the promise? Are you able to take care of them so that they see that they need you more than you need them? Are you able to do that? Okay? So this is something to bear in mind. So what I put it down is 6 pointers for you to overcome. So strategies that I have personally used to overcome these concerned little voices are: number 1, authenticity. Because at the end of the day, authentic self sells. Are you authentic? Are you here scamming people money and heck care what they do? Are you not concerned about their success? They put their money and time in you to say that, okay, I'm going to subject myself to that process. Ethics. Your working ethics is very important. Are you say one thing and do another thing? There's what we say in speakers world. There's these 2 different personas: on stage persona and behind the stage persona. There are speakers out there who have this personas issue. Again, not to name. I personally know them. Okay? Are you an ethical person? Are you seeing the person online, offline, the same person? Empathetic, the third one, the key, empathetic. Are you empathetic? Do you have this empathy? Are you putting your students' interest, your customers' interest, or your clients' interest first? That's the key. Are you a person who focus on yourself too often and neglect the needs, the desire, or the concern of your customers or the students? Okay? Number 4, success stories. Now here, I'm not asking you to get your success stories. Yes, this is part of the deal, because when your customers have generated results based on the promise, you better get a testimonial from them. I like to call success stories, but I'm not asking you, hey, you know what? Say this, like what the entrepreneur's definition. Say this. I want you to say this. You always ask for testimonials when your customers have results that can be proven. And then it is your obligation to get the testimonials or success stories. But you don't force the students to say something that is not proven, that hasn't happened. Okay, that is again the intention, right? Number 5, confidence. Do you present yourself in a confident way, such that no matter what happened to you, whether there's negative environment in front of you, you are actually able to withstand. You are able to make yourself in a resourceful state. Number 6, after all, there are haters. No matter what you do, there will be haters. So what we are saying is that you just need to remember you can't help everyone anyway. Once you understand this principle, just accept the fact that Jack doesn't need to be liked by everybody. In fact, I don't care whether you like me or not. I always love to say this because my job is to help my students to achieve results. Whether you achieve results or not, well, is part of the other equation which I'm going to talk about. But having said that, my interest is in my students, making sure that they do something and they are able to generate results as I promised. Okay, so these are the 6 steps. So let me do a revision here. Are you authentic, ethical, empathetic? Do you generate success stories from your students only when they really have results? Are you a confident person? Do you accept the fact that you can't help everyone anyway? Okay? So yes, no matter what you do, what I do, there will be people who will say that, Jack, you are a scammer, you are a entrepreneur. So are you going to be affected by this label such that you are not going to do anything? I don't think so. So deal with it. Okay, deal with it. So these are 4 objections that are happening on the entrepreneurs. I was part of this 3 days masterclass. Just happened, I think 40 hours ago, and I see that what happened was that there are a lot of people who complain about the offer. Most people who complain about the offer, the number one reason is that if these people are rich, they should be doing this for free. Now, if you're a service provider, if you're entrepreneurs, you know as well as I do that this cannot happen. I'm not a charity. I run a business. You have your business cost. I'm rich, but doesn't mean that I don't need to spend money. I don't need to incur. I don't need to pay bills, right? So why should I render my service? Why should I provide my products free of charge? I'm not a charity to start with. I need to accountable to my shareholder. You have to understand the corporate structure. Whatever you do, you have somebody who you need to accountable to. It may not be you only. If it's only you, might be you can do it for free. But how about your wife, your husband, your family members, your parents, people who are supporting you for what you are doing as an entrepreneur? Are you going to do something such that you're being held accountable to these people? I'm always saying that I won't provide free services, because by doing this free, what happens is that you are going to make the universe. 2 weeks ago, I talked about this thing called criminal exchange. Criminal exchange is a very powerful way of saying that if I'm valuing my service, my products, I cannot ask for anything that's called nothing. So Deborah, exactly, why would you give away your knowledge, wealth for free? Right? It doesn't make sense. You have a business to run. You have business costs. Okay? So this is the first thing. And the teachers in that 3-day masterclass handle this with finesse. See, it is a scam. What is that about? See, they teach 3 days. They teach 3 days. Guarantee they will sell you something. See, I'm right. They actually make the offer. Then the question is that, do you agree that there's such a thing called customers' loyalty? How do you earn customers' loyalty if you are not giving them something at the end of your presentation? Right? You got to overcome all these little voices. I don't want to offer because they will call me a scam. They will. You see, because at the end, I'm going to offer them something. Well, like I said, remember this point, you can't help everyone anyway. There will be people who will use whatever reasons to defy your or to say negative things about your offer. That's okay. Let it be. This is just the fact of life. You can't please everybody. Okay? See, they make their money by selling you things not working. Then my question is that how do you know? If you have not even had the experience of using the product or services. You can't tell people that, oh, see, they make money by selling things that are not working. How do you know it's not working? You see, when you come up with objection, you can come up with in any form. As far as I'm concerned, any objection is just an emotion. Okay, any objection is just an emotion. It could be due to frustration. It could be due to anger. It could be due to sadness. Okay, so whatever emotion is represented by the objection. So whatever words they use, is just an emotion. So what is the emotion? So this one, nothing wrong. Okay, I got our friends Deborah, Joe, Cindy, Maria. I got to be very careful here because they are living in United States of America and they are spending US dollars. So I'm giving you just an observation against this is called the currency. So there was this lady when the offer was made 2 days ago. The offer was 1,000 US dollars. Okay, so this lady came from South Africa, and she said, "Hey, you know, you guys are living in the United States. $1,000 may not mean anything to you, but 1,000 US dollars is 14,000 rand, South African rand in South Africa. You know how much we earn a month? 1,000 rand. So now, if I were to invest in your offer, it means I will let go of 14 months of my salaries. That is being ridiculous. You do not care for our currency. Okay, fine. I live in Singapore. The currency is not as weak as South Africa. Singapore is strong, although Singapore is weaker than US. So I do suffer sometimes because currency fluctuation. Having said that, what if you change your mindset by saying that that's the reason why I've got to earn US dollars and I spend in Sing dollars. Even is that better? That's why I got to learn how to earn US dollars, such that I can convert it back to Malaysian ringgit, which is 4.4, or South African rand, which is 1 to 14. And you know what? I have a lot of money to spend. So it's just some very simple reframe. Instead of blaming somebody or one finger pointing out, three fingers pointing back, why can't you just take responsibility and have some positive mindset or reframe? That's why I say, that's why Jack loves to earn US dollars, and precisely I can spend in Sing dollars. Actually, it's in Malaysia, even better. I earn US dollars, I spend Malaysian ringgit. And the fact is that if you haven't been to South Africa, I don't know, because I went first time South Africa in 2015. I love the red wine. I love the juicy steak. And that's very, very important. Thank you, Ashley. I love that comment. So 200 rand you can spend on a dinner in South Africa, in Johannesburg. 200 rand. So imagine 200 rand for a very juicy piece of steak. Plus another 200 rand, you get a nice bottle of red wine. I love to go back to Johannesburg. It's very nice. It's very nice. Does that make sense? So what I'm saying is that haters, they come up with all these objections, basically saying that they can't do this. You see the point that the reason why they come up with all these statements is because they don't see themselves do this. And that's why the emotional release is all these objections in the form of words. So as far as I'm concerned, I like my teacher said, there will be people who will do anything to just say no to you. You just focus on people who said yes to you and serve them. And you make sure you generate results. And that's what I love my new teachers. My new teachers are very, very much. And by the way, for those who don't know my new teachers, I'm not going to name their name. I'm not advertising for them. My new teachers, I'm actually going for classes at 12 a.m. my time. I did that 12 a.m. this morning. If you watch my Facebook story or IG story, you may know my teacher's name. However, I'm the only one from Singapore waking up at 12 a.m. So my class is going to start in less than 2 hours, and it's going to be another one or 2 hours time. And for the next 10 days, I'm going to be like that. So what are we talking about? Is what I call, do you bitch, do you moan, do you whine, or just put it as complain BMW. I did a TikTok video 2 days ago about the BMW, because many people I know, when they see other people, they choose to do this. Okay? They bitch, they moan, they whine, they complain, which is what we call play below the line. Instead, The proper mindset is, are you responsible for taking action? Are you resourceful enough to look for a solution by yourself? Or at least go ahead and get some guidance from other people who might be able to support you at a lower cost. Don't just complain and say that, oh my God, these are scammers. And then are you respectful for other people's opinion? Yeah, so Deborah, thank you. Some will, some won't, someone is waiting. You cannot personally invest in who buys and doesn't buy. That's right. So are you taking a BMW approach, or are you taking a triple R approach? So this is my new card. A BMW approach and a triple R approach is your choice. All right. So all I'm saying is that a entrepreneur is making money from the entrepreneur, but the intention is to, should I say the word cheat? Well, there's an intention there. Okay, cheat the entrepreneurs by taking their money but do not deliver the result. And part of the deal is, why would the entrepreneurs not generating results? Why would they not generate results? Ask yourself this question. What is the process that you do such that your customers, your clients, your students will be taking responsibility? That is part of the structuring of your deliverables. What are the things you can do such that there will be accountability and responsibility on their part? Because if they don't take any action, there won't be result. And if they are those who said they are committed and yet they are not, in the end the fingers will point at you, and then they will say that, you see, Jack is a liar because I invested in his program, I don't generate any results. Typically, I would say that, well, guys, show me your action plan. Have you done anything? No? Then who should be responsible for that? I am going to challenge my students, if you're watching this, if you say that whatever I've taught you doesn't work, I'll just let you know that those who take action actually generate the results. And my point is that, so does it mean that Jack is a entrepreneur? Your call, your choice. I don't care. I don't really care how you judge me. At the end, like what Deborah summed is very nice. Some will, some won't, someone is waiting. No matter what, there will always be people who are ready for your help. There will always be people out there who you will be helped. So focus on these people, not focus on people who said that they don't need your help or call you a scammer. Does that make sense? So the reasons why entrepreneurs should consider running events, online, offline, depends on where you are from. It's because of the leverage, because of your ability to speak in front of the audiences, leverage your time, your money. Okay, so we talked about that at the beginning. We also talk about the fact that your questions that you ask is not how to present. That is a question to ask, but it's not the very first question you ask. So we talk about the what, the why, and we also talk about, after this, the most important one is actually your who. And I said that if you know your business well, these questions shouldn't be a problem, shouldn't be an issue, because you would know how to position yourself easily. So when you are struggling with these questions, it only means to me that your context of your business is not strong. And work on this. Okay? So I also devoted a session about the entrepreneurs. I don't know whether I'll be subject to any challenge. I don't care. I'm prepared for that. Versus the entrepreneurs. Okay? But I just want to let you know at the end, whether you are seen as a entrepreneur or entrepreneur, I go back to my very fundamentals. Am I doing this to serve me, or am I doing this to serve other people? So if you have this intention to serve other people, like serve first, okay, then you shouldn't feel guilty about being an entrepreneur if somebody were to label it as such, as far as I'm concerned. But if your focus is about making money, and everything is money first, and you don't care your students' interest, then high chance you'll be labeled as an entrepreneur by the marketplace. Because your students, your clients are not dumb. They do know who their teachers are. They do know teachers can be compared. Okay? So because internet is a very, very big place where lots of information is there. All right. So with that, I would like to end this Facebook Live. With just one final note. So in the next 2 months, there will be different topics on speaking. Okay, so if you do want to know what I'm going to speak about 6 hours before 9 p.m. Sunday night, I will announce the topic. And if you're watching replay, you know that my rule is you've got 36 hours to watch the replay. So this Facebook Live will be taken down on 6th of October, 12 p.m. Singapore time, or 6th October, 12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, or 5th October, 9 p.m. Pacific Standard. Okay, so these are the time. Okay, I know. All right, so with that, I will end the Facebook Live and share with me one takeaway. And I thank you, Joe, for staying through. I know you're a busy man with Cindy, and thank you for staying through. And do check my answer to your question on the LinkedIn SSI. So first of all, go ahead and check your SSI score first. Only then you know the point A, you'll be able to know what to do with point B. Okay, thank you, Deborah. Thank you for your kind words. I'll see you in next week's Facebook Live, Sunday night, 9 p.m. Singapore time. All good wishes. Have a good evening, everyone. Bye-bye.